Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, I'm back on the test server. We've got new champions to have a look at. We've also got the new Fusion to check out. So I'm going to do a video on the Fusion probably today to release tomorrow. Now, the reason why I talked about that is because I'm seeing so many people just saying, I'm going to skip it. Easy skip for me. And I get it. You might have some fatigue. And if it's fatigue that's stopping you doing the Fusion, then I'm like, fair enough. Like, I get it as well, right? I've been running 2 accounts, I'm playing other games, and I get that same level of fatigue over Fusions at times. So if that's the reason, I get it. But if you're saying skip it because I don't think the champion is good, then I personally disagree with that. So anyway, each to their own. We'll go through it today. And as I say, I'll do a video showing off the Fusion because I do want people to realize before the Fusion starts, like where that Fusion could be good. Okay, so anyway, let's get into the new champions here. There are, I believe, 5 to show. This is going to be a fragment Fusion, so it's not like a whole bunch of epics that we're going to look at. But let's see who else is coming in this patch. And I think the patch is going to drop with new champions on Thursday. The Fusion drops on Thursday, so I'm assuming these other champions will drop on Thursday as well. Athorian then, High Elf. I mean, Raid are just relentless. They continue to release tons of new champs. This one, Wallmaster Athorian. Kind of got like a chicken plume. What are we saying? It's got a little birdie as part of his armor. Pretty cool though. Pretty cool visual. Nice little sword going through here. And funky little quiver. Nice bow. Okay, pretty cool. So Wallmaster Athorian here. High Elf. Decent-ish speed, okay base stats, nothing too special. Quite high base attack though, 1454. I mean, we see so many champions nowadays that it kind of becomes a bit of a blur. But this is a high number, 1454. Of course, he needs good multipliers for that to mean anything. So, and that's something we don't know from the test server. The A1's an AoE. This attack will not trigger counterattacks. Fills this champion's turn meter by 5% for each living enemy after the attack. That's a kind of nuts A1. AoE, let's say you're fighting Hydra, you're getting 20% turn meter for every time you use that A1. Doesn't work on counterattacks, but either way, that's still a pretty nutty A1. Yeah, damn, that's actually kind of nuts. A2, double AoE. First hit, books to 100% chance of putting block buffs. Second hit, block attack, decreased attack. Fills this champion's turn meter by 5% for each living enemy. And it's enemy max HP as well. Oh my lord, that is a crazy move right there. This guy's built for Hydra. Block buffs, decrease attack, loads of turn meter gain, enemy max HP. What else is going on? The A3 then places increased attack and increased accuracy on this dude and increased speed and then goes again. And it's on for 3 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. So he's buffing his ability to land stuff. He's buffing his own attack and speed. Because he's getting 3 buffs, he's also going to be a good candidate for resistance tanking for Head of Mischief. So, damn. Crazy Hydra kit, I would say. We've also got a passive here. Increases his champion's max HP by 20% for each enemy killed or Hydra head decapitated. That's actually very cool as well. So, until it said there, the Hydra head bit, I was like, well, that doesn't work for Hydra. This guy is specifically a Hydra champion, I would say. Like, don't get me wrong, he could work elsewhere. But that is a Hydra kit right there. And this is quite nice for anything Ice Golem. Any decreased attack AoE is pretty good for Ice Golem. And, you know, things like block buffs, pretty useful anyway. But yeah, feels like a really cool Hydra champ. Okay, first one, bit of a tick. Solid champion. Let's check the next one. Falmond. Portrait looks cool. Okay, Sacred Order. Is the Bannerman. Oh, is he the faction? Is he a faction guardian dude? Yeah. Okay, so we've got the Faction Guardian Sacred Order. Is that what they call them again? I don't know if that's what they call them. Is it Faction Guardian? Anyway, the dude who's going to be nuts for Sacred Order. So what's going on with this guy? His aura is ally attack in all battles and ally crit rate in all battles for Sacred Order. Pretty decent base stats, very similar to what we've just seen. Again, a very high base attack. Back in the day, I remember doing videos where over 1500 base attack was just unheard of. Nowadays, it's a bit more common. Let's see what this guy's doing then. So, Morn Sword. Attacks an enemy, heals this champion by 50% of the damage inflicted. If there's any surplus heal, places a shield as well. Damn. Will attack using Burning Courage, must be one of the other skills. Instead, if the target is from Corrupted Alliance, just see what that means. So that's Undead, Demon Spawn, Dark Elves, and Night Revs. A2 attacks all enemies. 3-turn cooldown here. Damage inflicted by this skill increases by 5% for each buff and debuff on the target, and ignores 25% of defensive targets that have no buffs. So if they're cleaned of buffs, he's going to be an absolute nuke. And if not, I mean, he's got some decent damage buffing going on as well. Does depend on his multipliers, though. And then the A3 here, this is where he gets all the faction stuff going on. So attacks an enemy. Before attacking, removes all buffs from the target. Damage increases by 20% for each buff removed. This could be a slam dunk. What's going on here, then? So if he's got one faction ally, before attacking, steals the buffs instead of just removes them. Cannot be resisted. Damage increases by 20% for each buff stolen. It's pretty nuts. 2 allies. The damage inflicted by this skill increases by another 20% for each buff taken by an ally or enemy before this champion's next turn. Hold on. The damage inflicted by this skill increases by 20% for each not buff taken. Each turn taken by an ally or enemy before this champion's next turn. Flipping heck. That could be like, what? 120%, 140% more damage? I mean, it's a single target hit. If that's not killing stuff, then what the hell is? All right. And if there's 3 of the faction, will attack all remaining enemies with any surplus damage if the initial target is killed. Wow, that could be an absolute crazy nuke. This attack cannot be a crit if the initial target survives, places guaranteed true fear on all enemies. So the fact that it says the surplus damage cannot be a crit. Let me just see what Baron says on his. I think Baron surplus damage can crit. Will attack all remaining enemies with any surplus damage. Yeah, so the difference here, so if it says cannot crit on the surplus damage, it means that you won't get the additional crit multiplier going again. So you know Baron does crazy damage on his A1 if he kills someone. This guy, I don't think will do crazy damage on the surplus stuff, but it'll probably still be pretty mental because of all of the extra multipliers that are going up. Interesting though, so this faction guy, instead of being like a real team carry, it's like, no, you're empowering me to do crazy stuff. So I like this kind of twisted angle on it, but I don't know. Still need some play testing, I guess. Then we've got the passive here. So decreases the damage taken by this champion by 10% for each turn taken by an ally or enemy before this one's next turn. So you could get up to, what, 60, 70 odd % damage reduction if everyone's taking turns. It's an interesting mechanic. It probably sounds better than it is. Because by the time it kicks in, you've probably already taken like 2 or 3 hits. If you're not dead from that, then your enemies are not well built, I would say. So it's an interesting mechanic. The longer he lives in a fight, the more threatening this guy gets, basically. So I could see him being pretty useful in live arena, that type of stuff. It says here, one faction ally fills an ally's turn meter by 2% whenever they place a buff or debuff. 2 allies places revive on death for 1 turn on an ally whenever they drop low on health. There's no cooldown on this, so I guess it just happens. Hold on. If there's no cooldown, how does anyone ever die? I guess if they're just killed before this has a chance to happen, then they'll die. But if you get to the point where you're between 50 and 0 or 50 and 1%, then it goes on. I'm guessing. All allies are immune to cooldown, increasing effects if you've got 3. That is insanely good. So finally, like a counter to a Yumiko, Warlord, all of those guys. This guy's serious. So the question is there a good enough squad to get 3 faction allies out of this team? Siegfried is nuts if you had him. So that's the mythical champion is in nuts territory. You've got champions like Cardiel, good support. You've got the combos like Venus and Cupidus, but kind of difficult to squeeze Falmond in because you've got damage dealer. You don't really want 2 damage dealers. If you're going to bring him in as the damage, everyone else kind of needs to be support. Who else is filling that support role? Got damage here in terms of Supreme, A4, and Constantine. Martyr kind of okay. There's none of like the big revivers in here. There's none of the, I guess Bishop's not bad as a support. Bivald's not bad, but they're not great. People like Deke for the masses. Godseeker's good. I don't know. What do you think? Is there enough? No, even think about Hydra. If he was going to play Hydra or something like that, is there enough support to really make him work? Tricky one. Good faction, but not the best faction. Certainly not the kind of like biggest meta faction for like stuff like Arena, Live Arena, and that sort of thing. Interested to know what the real end game Whale, Kraken, Arena dudes think of this guy, or more actually think of the faction to support this guy's kits. Anyway, let's move on. So next one is Undead. Oh, it's a new mythical. Let's save that one for last. Right, Shadowkin here. Another mythical here. So first faction with 2 mythicals, albeit it's Mikage. Okay, let's come back to that as well. Okay, so it's 2 mythicals, and then, wow, they're pouring in the mythicals. So Illustrid here, I guess the main thing we haven't seen yet with her is her lovely appearance. She's looking a little bit cat-like with the eyes. She's got a little basket. Okay. Okay, looking good. Speed 115, incredibly quick, which does make a difference because everything about her is like speed freak. This into this is why I'm saying I would just think twice before you skip. Increased speed. People are saying, oh, she's just like Arbiter. She's kind of not. She's not really just like Arbiter. Yes, this is what Arbiter does. Turn meter boost is what Arbiter does. But increased speed, Arbiter does not do. AoE weaken, AoE decrease speed is not something Arbiter does. AoE decrease turn meter is not something Arbiter does. This champion's going to end up being probably, like, for a speed team, one of the best champions in the game. And for Hydra, an insanely good champion. The only thing I don't really get is this A1 mechanic, but I guess it's okay, but it's not great. This is interesting as well. So whenever this champion or an ally has their turn meter increased, heals all allies based on their max HP. Now, it's got a 1-turn cooldown, so she needs to take a turn before this happens again, which is where it's much weaker, because if you had someone like, someone said to me, oh, what about if you paired her with Morley? And I was thinking, yeah, pretty cool idea, but it's only ever going to be on one of your team that's getting this kind of like heal. Otherwise, it would be insane, honestly. It'd be an insane skill. So the fact that it's kind of random who gets it makes it less valuable. It's still quite cool, though. But yeah, anyway, I think she's going to be good. And this base speed, like, cements it. It's the first time I've seen that. Cements it in my mind that a lot of people will be sad if they do not pick her up. And if you don't happen to have, you know, like a Necmo, Lissandra, Arbiter, those kind of like real specialist turn meter boosters, then she's almost like a must get. Well, not must get, but, you know, is a very, very valuable champion. Okay, let's check out the 2 mythicals then. So Calamitous. Okay, I like the portrait. It looks pretty cool. We have got Death here. He's got a nice scythe on his back. What are we saying? Love the armor. Very cool. Very cool. Detailed. Little pokey faces. Don't get in the way of his kneecaps. Honestly, it's painful. Little prayer symbols. Cool weapons. It looks pretty sweet, right? Let's see what his other form looks like. Big change. Now winged. He's flying. He's angry. He's got the 3-sided skull. It's pretty cool. The weapon's cool. Okay, looks cool. Let's see what his kit's all about. So it's attack-based here. Let me just quickly check. Everything's scaling from attack. 1,550 base attack. Good speed. Stays attack-based in its second form. Still with the crazy attack. Everything's attack-based. Okay, so he's one of these that you could just build in one way and it would do the job. So let's just see what kit's happening here. Base form. Double hitter. Each hit restores this champion's destroyed max HP. Each hit also heals this champion by 30% of the damage. Gets an extra turn if he kills someone. So if it hits hard, he could cycle turns with this, but it's like inbuilt life steal. Yeah, it's an okay one. A2's a quad hit. Each hit ignores 10% of the target's defense. First hit block buffs. So we've got a 4 debuff hits. Decreased defense, weaken, decreased speed. 4 debuff hits. But it is 4 strikes. So if it was something like Sand Devil, it's not like a reho where you just lay off the debuffs and then people could go in and nuke. By the time someone else gets a smack, you've already like run through the sleep. So it's not as valuable as like a reho, but still on single target bosses, I mean, most of the things that you need in one go are sitting there. And it should hit hard. A3 then attacks all enemies. This will always crit. That's the only one that says that, right? Yeah, I don't love this. This will always crit, but you kind of have to build him to crit for everything else unless you just focus on this skill, which is on a 4-turn cooldown if you book it. If this attack kills someone, places unkillable on this champion. If it attack kills 2, places unkillable on this champion for 2 turns. Okay. It's kind of, yeah, okay, fine. Heals this champion by 50% of their max HP at the start of their turn. That's pretty nuts as a passive. Interesting. Okay, let's flip. So second form here. I'm not like massively like pumped about the first form. So let's see what second one is. Attacks an enemy. After attacking, transfers all debuffs from this champion to the target. If the target is under Hex before the attack, transfers all debuffs from this champion to the target before attacking. Okay. AoE here on the A2, books to a 3-turn. Before attacking, removes all debuffs from this champion. So he's basically never attacking with debuffs on him. Damage increases by 10% for each debuff on the target. Will ignore 20% defense if they've got Hex. This has got to be Hex, right? Yeah, okay. Hex and decreased defense. Ignores life barrier, poison cloud. That's interesting. And ally protect. And then fully heals his champion every time they kill an enemy under Hex. Also increases his champion attack by 10% for each enemy under Hex. So I'd imagine he does a decent amount of damage. A couple of AoE skills here. His kit's decent, but not, I don't think it's like crazy for me. Let me know what you think. I'm not like, damn, that's a mythical that everyone's going to be trying to pick up. His multipliers, though, could be nuts, and then it might be something different, but still, it's not like he's, oh, I'm ignoring stone skin, or, you know, I'm doing some really special mechanics. Feels like he's a relatively standard dude. Oh, I love the bodywork here. This is super cool. Toshiro the Bloody. Coming at us with the big katana. Yeah, that's like take a bow, whoever's done that work. Seriously cool. That's really, really detailed. Love that. Look at that shield as well. Damn. That shield is absolutely insane. In fact, I need to take a screenshot of this shield. That shield is absolutely insane. I love that. Damn. Raid do shields so well. They really do. Okay, this dude looks freaking sweet. What's that? Like a serpent or something wrapped around the blade there as well. Look at that. Yeah, really, really cool design, this one. Let's see what the second skill. Second one turns into HP. Oh, damn, that looks cool as well. Yeah, this guy looks the part. Like, really, really well done. Love this. Big Trouble in Little China, this look. So the first one is attack-based. The second one is HP-based. And it goes from 1,500 attack, 18k HP, up to 25. So it does flip as well. So you're kind of building him depending on what role you want him to fill. Either his standard form or his second form. Let's see what's going on. A1 attacks an enemy. 50% chance of attacking another enemy if they're under leech. That's pretty cool. Okay. A2 attacks 4 times at random. Each hit increases this champion's attack and HP whilst in its base form, up to 100%. If the target's under leech, the champion's attack and HP increased by 10%. So you could get straight away, if you've got leech out there everywhere, you could gain 40% HP and attack in your first time using this ability, if I've read that right, which is kind of mad. Imagine that, his base HP is high anyway, 18k. His base attack is very high as well. Imagine how quickly you're doubling your attack. Damn, that's actually a bit mental. Damage inflicted by this skill increases by 15% for each leech debuff on the enemy team. So again, like if there's 4 out there, is that 60% more damage? Flippin' heck. Sounds nuts. All right, A3 then attacks all enemies, puts decreased defense and leech for 2 turns, puts an extra hit on enemies under 2 or more debuffs. Surely you're applying the 2 debuffs, or do they need to be on there before? And it scales from attack and HP here. So actually kind of nice, bearing in mind you're going to be building a bit of a blend of the 2. Might end up being a bit of a Rotus type build. Passive here fills his turn meter by 5% every time they attack someone under leech. Inflicts 25% more damage to enemies under leech. I feel like this guy might end up being nuts. Okay, let's see what the second form is doing then. So this is the HP form. But he should carry over his attack and HP, I believe, from the other form. Attacks all enemies on the A1. 50% chance of increasing duration of all enemy debuffs. Pretty cool. Another AoE here on the A2. Heals all allies except him by 10% of the damage. Okay. Feels like that's okay, but not crazy. The value, well, I guess it depends. Like if that's hitting for, yeah, it would have to hit for like 100k to even do a 10k heal, which is not that crazy. The value of the heal increases by 5% for each leech. Okay. And then we've got another AoE here, placing decreased speed and leech again with the extra turn. That's on a 4-turn cooldown. Pretty cool. I mean, a lot depends on how hard this guy hits. His kit's pretty decent and funky. Doubles the amount of healing the champion receives when attacking enemies under leech. Also decreases the damage taken from enemies under leech by 50%. I think that's just for him rather than for everyone. HP in all battles. It feels pretty cool to me. What do you think? It does get to the point now where just champions are becoming so strong. It's like, if you get them, which way do you turn? Like, they're just, with Mythical raising the bar, I mean, it's just so, like, there's so many bonkers champions now. It's getting absurd, honestly. Anyway, let me know what you think. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you soon.